Bottom hardness and vegetation are functionally the same. Therefore, we're not going to need to go through all the menu selections in the nuts and bolts like we did for vegetation. To use the bottom hardness functionality of AutoChart Live, you need to go to the AutoChart Live menu and then select bottom layer. The default value will be hidden, which means that the bottom hardness is not enabled. To enable it, click the arrow to the right. Two things will happen. One, notice that on the map the contour lines disappear and it shows the bottom. And secondly, underneath the bottom layer where it shows visible, you now have some additional menu selections. Arrow down to bottom type and make sure that bottom hardness is selected. The first thing we'll look at is the hardness transparency. The default is set to 0, which means this will override everything else on the screen. Change the transparency to 20 and you can start to see some of the contour lines on the bottom. Change it to 40, you see still more. And change to 70, you can see a lot more. The next thing we want to do is look at the Hardness Options submenu. Adjust the minimum and the maximum hardness to your desired level. And as with AutoChart Live, you have 7 color palettes to choose from, and palette number 3 is the default. In our first example, we're going to look at a hard bottom and a soft creek channel. The yellowish areas are the hardest and the blues are the softest. I'm going to put waypoints on the hard areas so that we can look at them in the side image mosaic and see how they line up. So I'm going to the side image mosaic now, and we see that the waypoints line up pretty good with the hardness. Back to the bottom hardness view, let's now mark the muddy areas and see how they line up on the side image mosaic. Once again, we put our waypoints down, go back to the side image mosaic, and yes, they line up. Again, if we'd had a crisscross pattern, we would have a much better image of what the bottom hardness is. Here's another example showing the yellow as the hard bottom and the dark blue as the soft bottom. Let's look at this in our side image mosaic. We have a soft area and then we have a rock pile hump. We're going to put our waypoints on this like we did in the other one. We put the soft area and now we're putting the hard area, and let's go look at the side image mosaic. The first waypoint is just the soft bottom area. The second waypoint is the hard area with plenty of rocks. This is an interesting picture. It's a mosaic of an underwater railroad bridge and trestles, and this is what it looks like in the hard bottom view. You can see the trestle area and the railroad bed is light, and then the creek bed and surrounding areas are the dark blue, showing the softer areas. We're again going to put waypoints on the map to show you the areas and make sure they line up. Once again, we're marking the hard spots on the railroad trestle. And the other railroad bridge. Now let's go look at these in the side image mosaic. And once again, they line up just like we thought they would. So now let's go back and put waypoints on the soft areas. And we'll drop them on the black areas. We put many waypoints in the soft areas. Now we're going to go look at them in the bottom hardness view. And they surely line up.